welcome back to VCT Americas, where this series continues to deliver, but I'm not sure my heart can take it anymore. In what felt like a map that was maybe going to go to overtime yet again, Sentinels puts together two incredible final rounds to take it in 13-11 fashion. I mean, they came alive here at the end of that map.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are the kings of clutches. See what I did there? Yeah. I mean, Sassy, like Zekin, I mean, both of them put up a huge fight. Huge reasons why they won that map right there. I mean, it was incredible to watch them, but also, like, is this something that we're going to see going on into the next map? Right,
Sean. It ended on a 1v2 clutch from Zekin, but we only get that if round 23 as well plays out the way that it does. Saucy coming up with some big brain plays here in what felt like a round loss.
That was a sick end to this game for Sentinels. And this round by Saucy kicked it off, right? He TPs into the site, and they have an ulted KO next to them. Def actually pops the KO out right here. The null command is, and he's a down KO. Saucy has to think really quick there. He could res the KO, he could plant the spike, but he opts to ult immediately to B. All the Killjoy stuff is still there. He meets up with Penkata, and in a 2-on-3 with low HP, they somehow win that round, and that sets up the Zekin clutch. That was the most insane end ever. That was so sick.
Yeah, and that was an incredible end, but Zekin was putting up a performance like that kind of all map long, right? I mean, we've been singing his praises even from the pregame that this guy has been a rock for Sentinels, and that continues here today, putting up astronomical numbers.
It's insane. I mean, we just saw him play Raze. He had a stellar performance there, and that was a map we saw him play Sky on, I think, like last week or the week before. Here we see him play Sova. He can play almost any agent for Sentinels. And not only that, he can play it at an extremely high level at all phases of the round. The entry, the mid-round, and the clutch. He's just such a good player.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about before how Saucy is constantly changing roles and changing comp, but like, maybe this team specializes in having everyone change their roles and change their comps, because every single player is just so good at bringing whatever they need to bring on whatever role they're on.
You kind of love to see it, both of the Sovas up top the table for either squad, but it was Zekin who would get, you know, the slightly better end of the deal, I guess, there, sporting a 336 combat score and almost a 30 bomb. One away.
Dude, it was so close. And I thought he was going to have this amazing game stolen from him after that timeout where they lost a 3 versus 5 eco. I was like, this is so NA. We're about to lose this map and lose O2. This is how it ends. But the heroics at the end wipe away all of that frustration.
Right, and this is in the face of what we were saying, where dropping map 1, which felt like must-win for Sentinels, made us think, okay, this is likely getting wrapped up in 2-0 fashion. Saucy, though, what a difference between maps 1 and map 2.
Yeah, I mean, we were really dogging on him for the first map, I'll be honest. I've seen a different Saucy, and he really showed us on Ascent who he actually is and what kind of player he can be, because he was clutching, he was multi-killing, like, he was holding it down, and then everything that you said earlier, like that 23rd round really set them up, like put the momentum into play. And honestly, in terms of momentum for a while there, like it was getting kind of scary for Sentinels. Like round 17, Leviatán hit that thrifty, and just off of that thrifty, like they won like multiple rounds after that. And it started to look like a deja vu from the first half where they had the thrifty and they just like kept winning and winning and winning. So, I mean, I think that round 23, Saucy just like,
he came back into it. Even the round before that, I think, was an A hit where he found NTR by the door and, you know, got a couple of frags there that were huge. There's so many impactful plays that Sentinels busted out in the late part of that game.
Yeah, for me, it's the composure, right? In a high-stress moment like that 23rd round, where you make the decision to go to the other side of the map, right? You neglect your teammate, who is a possible res. That could just as easily be a bait, and you know, things like that. And so making the right choices in critical moments is why players like Saucy are sought after and why he was such a big acquisition for Sentinels, and it's starting to pay dividends here. Reality is, though, we're tied at 1-1 in the series, and these are between 1-1 teams. Not to like downplay the stakes here, but like you want to move to 2-1. You want to climb up the standings. You want to put that separation between you and teams that are playing you this close. So we turn our attention to the third and the final map here, Sean. Give me your overview of what Pearl's going to display for us.
It's Pearl, and this is a map where if you're Sentinels, you have to be a little fearful of Leviatán. I mean, they have not shown many cracks on this map lately, with wins over Zeta, Vitality, NRG, and Furia. These are top level teams in the world. They're 4-0 so far this year on the map. Sentinels, we've only seen them play one game, and it was at the Tarek Ludwig Invitational, and they were running like a troll comp with a neon jet. If they busted that out today, it's curtains.
Who knows?
No, we can't have that. We cannot have that comp. That would be an abomination.
One can dream.
I think Sentinels has a lot of footage, and if I look at this veto, they know for a fact Pearl was going to be played today.
Yeah.
And they have all of this footage of Leviatán. Leviatán has none of them. So Sentinels is a bit in the driver's seat when it comes to the preparation on this third map. This is anyone's game.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be really close. I think both these maps have been super close. Sorry, I don't think it's going to be close. Let me correct myself. The first two maps were super close, and I'm looking for a bit of a. I said this last map, and so I don't want to jinx it.
I see you, Sean.
I see you guys cheating and trying to look at the comp. I saw that. I looked away on purpose, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for Sentinels. I will have to agree with you, Sean, here. I think Leviatán has looked so good on this map. They've had really good form. They've had really good mid-rounding. Everything has been so good. Their structure as well just has been like unwavered. You know, like they have strength in this map, and I think that they're super confident. Earlier, you were talking about how they have such a limited map pool. Well, I mean, they better bust it out on this one.
This is the peak of their map pool.
Yeah, well, and to that end, though, right, that's where you would look for them to put up or shut up, right? If it is supposed to be a map victory for you, or at least a map advantage for you, as we dive into Agent Select, we may have gotten that little bit of a spoiler early on over the shoulder. But we'll just verify that these picks are actually locked in. It was a mirror matchup on the previous map. Doesn't look like it'll be the case this time around.
We do have double controllers on both sides, but I do like Sentinels is not running the Harbor Viper. This is something I mentioned in the early segment for the desk, that they have not run it very well so far. They've tried it a lot on several maps. I was afraid they would run to it on Pearl. They didn't. This is a different comp from the ones we've typically seen in the meta right now, but the double initiator and the KO Sova, I think Def showed he can call with this comp. I believe this is the X set, similar to the X set comp from Champions.
Yeah, I think, sorry to cut you off, but going into it, it's going to be, so for me, the Viper Harbor comp is just so strong, and I feel like to counter it in a way where it's like, you know, you have the jet op, which is impossible to kind of get past those walls. Like, that's what I'm worried about for Tens.
Well, they have been razor-thin margins through the first two maps here of the series, but one map stands between each of these teams and victory, and moving up that overall standings here in VCT Americas Map 3, do or die time, Pearl, as we send it back to Brennan Sideshow for the cast.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, what a way to start it, man. I mean, listen, map 3, Josh, pushed to the distance, expectations out the window for a lot of us. I think Sentinels as well, the desk was talking about it. You know, listen, element of surprise, hopefully going to be playing a part here with the composition.
Yeah,
you can't really counter-strat this team. They're pulling out something quite new. You know what Leviatán are going to run on this map, and you know they're damn good at it.
Yeah, you know that, but you know that there are a couple of things that the desk has mentioned that they're going to be relying on the defense side. One of which is going to be Taco opping, and even before he can get opping, playing aggressively. Now, normally, there's going to be a cascade in his face. That's not something that Sentinels can do. They don't have a cascade. They don't have any sky flashes, so Taco should have a much easier time of getting onto aggressive angles and taking early fights. And look at what they're doing here.
Oh, yeah.
4-player stack over towards B.
Talk about aggression. It's a deep Viper orb. You can see Zekken just using the drone, I think. Telltale sign that there could be more players lurking up there towards the top end of B, but the drone does spot. Player pushed up deep, and look at this answer as well. Leviatán not wasting any time. There's a contact reclear at the top of B.
But this is going to end up being a full retake round, really. I mean, Shy's not going to be able to stop this getting down on A. So we get to see the other part of what I was talking about. The two big pillars, I think, for Leviatán on their defense side are going to be Taco getting aggressive and opping, and then the retake setups.
Yep.
Normally, you're going to see a lot of B hits with retake setups that have that Viper wall going up, and then
That's an important fight. I feel like this art control is going to be so important. The way the Viper wall is going to be cutting them up against that double controller.
Look at how aggressive Sentinels are getting here, pushing into Shy on the back.
It's almost necessary. Pancada hoping to timing this, maybe get a kill. He's stunned up, any help inside? Not quite! He's his own man, stunned up, doesn't matter, still swinging through. Now what okay, bit of an orb in their face. Leviatán trying to find this one, they're winning this one out, surely! Weak enough in the end, and a clean enough retake.
And the retake is decent there, but there's a couple of kills. I mean, Pancada should have gone down easily, but being able to find, I think it was Sassy, the first pick, who was in that spot over by Art.
Yeah.
I think really getting caught out by a heavy flank push there. Sentinels looked like they were set up to anticipate Leviatán to be rotating through spawn. Or rotating through the B-link,
yeah,
A-link area. And instead, Sassy just gets shoved from behind.
And I think, I mentioned it in a moment, but that art control is so important. If you know you're playing against this Viper Harbor comp, with their retakes, they can really split the side up.
Right here.
High tide and the Viper wall is laid down, so doesn't work out for them. Pistol round one here for Leviatán. They want to play it safe, though.
It's an interesting high tide. We've seen it now twice from Mazzino in 2 rounds. Locks off the B-link, gives them a decent resistance in Art, and then also stops these guys from popping into A.
Very disciplined, though, by Sentinels. See a lot of teams on these eco rounds, they're willing to throw away their lives.
Here.
The way SEN play these, though, they're taking their time with it.
The other part of this too,
prodding.
It looks like Def is loading up on ult orbs, right? He's already at 4. Might be a theme to take a look at because the KO pick is unusual. We don't normally see teams running that on this map. And so what's the theory behind it? I think Null Command is going to be extremely, extremely useful to stop Leviatán from retaking. Anytime he can get a suppress down on Mazzino and King, the smokes are going to be stopped and everybody on Sentinels can play post plants from those far back positions.
I mean, just the power of it.
Yeah, look at how good the high tide and the Viper wall is.
You just rotate it. When the Viper wall goes down, you put up the high tide, and it's so difficult to get through. You need util. Something you're not going to be buying too much on these eco rounds, and we're hoping for an easy plan.
But I think that's got to be the theory behind Def running KO here.
Sure.
His ultimate is so good for post plant, weirdly. It's just a quirk of the meta that you see here on Pearl.
Maybe that is the idea behind it.
We'll have to see, won't we? I mean, Sentinels really haven't demonstrated their game plan here. They ran Jet Neon in the offseason.
Yeah, in the Taric tournament.
I mean, that is a ridiculous stat. Leviatán choking away those
third maps. Yeah, what was that, 274 days?
I mean, they went to see Dr. Valorant earlier. The LATAM DRX. Perhaps.
Potentially.
Taco with the Guardian pushes up deep towards B here. Nosra with utility that can help him fight. But Sentinels have just flipped the map, moving their way over to A.
Here.
There's none of that prior map control with these guns in their hands. Have to try and convert this. Invested into it. It's LEV on that bonus. But look at how difficult it is to chew through. But there it is. As soon as the Viper Orb goes down, pop straight in. They've got a lot to deal with, though. Look at that. Tens is being chunked down. 47 health. He was cut up entirely from the rest of his team, but it matters not. Still getting into the back of the site. And how do they want to play this one into the post plant? By being planted. Around the back, it's being watched for. Tens wants to try and get the punish, but he can't. It's being held.
It's a double reflank coming through.
High tide cascade, there's so much to deal with. It's all about how you hold this one now, up close. Def claims that first kill now. And how do you deal with this on the flank? Pancada trying to stay alive. Flash in his face, anti, a bit of a misplay. Team Flash, it's still the kills claimed. And this is really turning up the heat still. Def contains, maneuvering his way around the back. That's 4 kills. Knows what the last one left. Not even playing for the ace. No greed in sight, they just want to keep the guns.
It's a decent bonus round from Leviatán there. But crucially, Def has now got his ult online. He was only 2 points away from it. Didn't have the opportunity, or at least wouldn't want to have used it in that post plant particularly, because they were in control the whole time. But this is where I'm really intrigued to see what he decides to do. Is it going to be used as a standard null command entry, or is he going to try and save it to block these smokes from coming up in the retake?
That's what we're watching for here with the distinction, but...
At the same time, Taco's got an operator and looking to take an early peek into mid. Nobody there, but Pancada possibly...
Oh, this is so aggressive.
On the other side of it. Yeah, this is crazy aggressive, but Mazzino's holding that top window.
Take it mid-control. It's given up for you now, but it's hard to hold on to yet still. Okay. Timing was everything there. Pancada just drifting past in the right angle, and it's a fast pop. Okay, no command. It's going to be used to try and hit this side straight up through the smoke. Oh, TenZ, none the wiser. He's spotted out there. He will fall. So 3 alive now for Sentinels to try and hold on.
That is not a great push through the wall there at all. It's left them in a 3v5.
It will have to be a bit of a miracle moment. Pushing forwards, taking space, taking names as well. Very aggressive by Def. Backing away, just trying to make it as hard as possible for Leviatán to try and get themselves into the site, but a dash across. It's Taka with the up. Not the best weapon for the situation at hand, yet still, he makes the most of it.
And the plant spot's not good.
It's not good. Taps right round the corner, kills him to be one, and they are one indeed, sticking all the way. And it's just not planted for him.
Zekken actually denies the operator out of the hands of Taco. But that's a couple of things going wrong for Sentinels there that could have made all the difference. TenZ giving away a very early, giving away his life far too easily. And also the plant being put down in a spot that isn't great. And one of the reasons the plant goes down in that spot, there's no harbor here. There's no cove. It is very difficult to get the plant down in that nice open area where most of the teams are going to be playing post plants from. And that's going to add a really different quirk to the way that Sentinels play this map. Especially on B.
See, it just doesn't quite work out for them. It's a deep knife. Try and push him away from the A main angle, so nobody can play it. Loading up those ult orbs onto Zekken. 2 away from his own ult. Stars drop down. Looks like they actually want to go with some pace into this one. Moving forwards again. So it's going to be given up. You can see the team being split up, though, because of all that utility. Nano swarms at their feet, Snakebite as well. And LEV are the kind of team they're happy to play these retakes.
TenZ is so far forward again.
And where's the rest of his team? He needs some help here. Up close with a dash. Yep.
He's just playing way too far ahead of everyone.
And there's no help. There's no help in sight. Smoked off. Reckoning going to be used to try and shift the positioning and push them back. Sassy, he's so low. 1 kill found, but a knife to the chest to bring him down. Dash forwards. Re-enabled. The right click not doing it, but damage. And the run and gun. Okay. No more stars in sight to disrupt this one. Getting off of it onto half, but Pancada realizes it's a lost cause. Have to back away.
A big round from Leviatán, but now we're really seeing a trend of TenZ overstepping himself. And sometimes, when Sentinels are playing against NRG, I think you couldn't put too much blame on TenZ, because when he was getting this far forwards, he had nobody supporting him and he wasn't getting traded out. But in moments like this, the last 2 rounds, if anybody goes forward to try and help him, they're also pushing through smokes, pushing into spots where you just get flashed and cleared. He's putting himself in a bad place where, honestly, if the rest of Sentinels try to help him, they'll just die as well.
Difficult fight to take.
Def's talked about having to have a little bit of a leash on TenZ, and maybe that just needs to be tightened a smidge here.
Yeah, making sure he can't get away with too much. Trying to push into those back of those sides. The game plan from LEV has been good. Making sure that they don't give away any early picks. Play it safe, play for the retake. That's the strength of your composition. They understand that one.
They've also heavily changed up their defending setup. I mean, Shy has now put all of his Killjoy utility over a B.
Hunter's Fury. That's into the back of the site. Damage being done, just trying to clear these angles. 1 tag found. Is it going to be the kill? No. Running to the side, King avoids, and it's put that much pressure into it. There's no other space on the map gained for Sentinels. 50 seconds left. And still, Viper Orb in their face. LEV have stacked over so many players towards them. Just contacting. TenZ in the back of the site now. What can he get done? Updraft around the corner. It's a dog in his face, and he has to dash back to disengage. 30 seconds left.
30 seconds
Here comes the Viper's Pit.
But at least TenZ is playing his life here and going with death to try and control R.
Spammed.
Yeah, just trying to take an angle that he has no need to again.
Everyone's playing offside.
I mean, Def has got a lovely lurk timing here, though, and it's going to take Leviatán a lot of effort to get through Sassy's pit.
Everyone's playing offside, just trying to spam through. The K damage, a pit goes down because they have to play off here, but now they're at risk, really, of just getting stopped. It's all about this flank timing. It's chaotic, it's pandemonium at its best, and still, it has to come down to this. So much on the line, the flank, the spray, it's so damn labored, but it's all up to him, and they know his position. Sticking it without a worry in the world. And LEV just contain it.
How did Leviatán manage to pull that one away? Sentinels let so many strange things there. TenZ facing instead of playing with Def or inside the pit. They allow the pit to go down instead of all playing inside of it. And then they also... Shy just wide swings and deletes people. 4 kills in the round as he just sweeps forward.
Feels a little bit out of sync.
Huge round from Shy, though, but I definitely agree with the timeout being taken here. 4 out of 5 of the rounds that Leviatán have won have been retakes, and that's not even on B. I mean, most of the time when we think about retakes on this map, it's the way that the Harbor and the Viper coordinate together to block off those angles on B and get really aggressive retakes going. That's not been the case. It's just been suckering Sentinels into making the overly aggressive play on A.
A necessary timeout. I can't really wrap my head around that. I mean, the Viper's Pit was down there, but they want to give up the side anyway and get blocked off by the double controller by playing in the choke.
Yeah, I mean, that is a head scratcher. I feel like we must have missed something there because it's just such a bizarre decision.
Regardless, timeout. Reaching the end here. Necessary for Sentinels. What can they pull out of the playbook?
TenZ is currently 1-5. And I think listen, the job of a Jet in this meta is horrendous. Attack side Jet in this meta is so difficult. I mean, he is having to push through Viper mollies, nano swarms, getting vulnerable to getting tagged down, getting spammed through smokes, cascades in his face, has to push through. The Harbor utility slows him down. It's awful. It's terrible.
Really hard, a sacrificial lamb.
I mean, the days of the Jet carrying do seem to be over a little bit. You know, there's a reason why people like Khalil and King and those, Som, those kind of smokes players, initiator players, Zekken, for example, are dominating at the moment.
Right here.
But at the same time, you've got to take smart fights.
So what's the switch up? Weapons were cobbled together. See, Sentinels were able to get a relatively decent buy together. Still a Guardian in the hands of Zekken, but it's a slow, cautious play. And that's a Cosmic Divide. Rips her way across onto the site now. Mazino wants to play really forwards, and it's just spamming a common angle. Gets out of his life as well. Discipline is there, and the first kill going away with Sassy down. What's the adjustment?
So here's where I'm thinking Def saves his ult for the post plan. Defender Killjoy goes down, they can all fall off site. But if Def decides to rip his ultimate, then it's going to stop Mazino and King from using their walls. And here it is. Post plan, null command. And that's going to take so much time off the clock. Oh, look at this, King. King is walking away from the ult so that he can keep this Viper wall up.
Yep. Just so that they have one level of the smokes, and now the burst of that null command going to be fading away. It all comes down to a bit of spam. The turret, okay, body blocking the Trailblazer. Not ideal. Time still running low. And now you see that Cove. King sticking it, spamming it down. Need to break it all the way through. No one's dealing with King, and he just sticks it through.
It's a nice idea from Sentinels. It really is. I can see what they're going for, but Leviatán instantly adjusted to it.
Check me then.
King ran away from the site that he was trying to retake in order to keep his Viper wall up. And then, once it runs out, Mazino's utility is impeccable. Look at how good that high tide is for him to slip into the cubby with the cascade and kill 3 players that are all spamming the spike. Gorgeous stuff. This guy has just been perfection on the smokes and Harbor roll since being added to Leviatán and having to swap his roll up. That's another retake for Lev.
Something's got to change for Sen.
Need that back.
Retakes aren't working, or at least trying to hold into the post plant. The retakes are definitely working for Lev. A bit of exploration towards mid.
Not something that we've seen really so far from
No.
Sentinels. They tried it on, I think it was the pistol round. But apart from that, it's been mostly just pressuring A and then a little pop into B that we just saw.
This could be a good avenue to try and explore if you are Sentinels. Break the alarm bot, pull rotations away, maybe try and get a bit of an easier hit and get some players in some forward lurk positions to be that backstab, that extra element, rather than just relying on spamming down any sort of angles. But we're down to 50 seconds.
Sassy looking for the Khalil shot.
Where are they ending?
I don't know.
Spike's not picked up.
I don't know if they know, to be honest, bro.
Time's running so low.
Spike retrieved.
Call gets made. All right. B's going to be the goal here, but you're going to be walking straight into
30
Tackleer
seconds
and
left.
Mazzino.
To be honest, the time is so low. Mazzino might just try to rip this Reckoning and fight them as they get the plant down.
Pop the ult. Updraft towards the side there. Ten's trying to take a cheeky fight onto the heaven position. Push forward. How is Mazzino getting that?
And how is he getting one out of it?
Yep. Traded. There for the plant, though. It's going to be going off, but again, it's not a good position. It's tucked against that default box.
He has one knife.
Everyone has to try and play this one aggressively if you're Sentinels. You can't give up the site too easily. One thing to say that, another thing to do. Comes down to these fights that need to be taken. Flash through, off to the side, smoke in their faces. Reposition by Def could be quite good. Jumping through, needs to find a fight, and the crossfire is good. More than good, it's excellent.
What a lovely post-plant setup from Sentinels. It's so rare that we see attacking teams have compositions that want to fight on the site like that.
Yeah.
But this one definitely does. I think Mazzino, after I've just praised him for being flawless at times with this team, I don't get why he ran through the smoke at Heaven. He had a Reckoning to play the retake. Even if he was going to challenge like that, he needs teammates to play off. You can't just be walking through a smoke. Going 1-for-1 with Zekken there is not favorable. 5-player stack from Leviatán on the eco round towards B. And Sentinels have not been playing any of this map aggressively at the beginning of the round. I think one of the big focuses for Sentinels here has been about slowing the pace down at the beginning of the rounds. And it's helped them in the first kill department too. They were coming into this match, shockingly poor first kill rate. Always having to play from a 4v5. About 60% of the time they were 4v5. And this match has been very different.
Minute off the clock and a call gets made here. Look at that, full rotation by Lev.
It's a pure gamble, isn't it? But it's the right one.
But I think they've read the Sen are very all in terms of where they're trying to play these attack side defaults. They make a bit of noise and presence. They run a lot of 4-1s, right?
Yeah, well, there's not even been that many lurkers, to be honest. You'd expect maybe Sassy to be doing that a bit for the team, but he hasn't really been there. And this is a big stack.
Yeah, this could get dangerous, despite the fact that they're up against the weaker bite. Plant, dog to the side. Yeah, this is where it really does get scrappy. Moving forwards, doesn't matter that you got the guns, doesn't matter you got the rifles. Because Lev have stacked it already and waiting. Moving forward, second with 2, good for that, but still, start of 10s. Tapping it through. Viper's Pit, Reckoning in his face, needs to win this fight, and win it he does. An exchange of a rifle. Few more bullets to work with, but just the right moment. Impeccable timing for King to swing.
And it's a disaster for Sentinels, just as it looked like that team was getting their feet underneath them. Leviatán call that mid-round swap to the A stack. And whether it's a God-tier read or a little bit of luck, it works out perfectly for them.
I think they got a read of it. I think they heard them spamming through art. And they know that the way that they've been playing this slowly is typically the areas they're working in the mid-round is where they're going to be landing.
Love the way that they played that too. I mean, they made it so difficult for Sentinels to find a single pick. All rushing together, all facing together. And great skill too.
And this is getting out of hand for Sentinels very quickly. After such a stellar performance for them to be able to bring it all the way. Opponent's map pick taken away.
Sean talked about it on the desk. This is arguably Leviatán's best map though. Now that their ascent has looked a little shaky against Furia and now Sentinels. But it is going to be a heartbreaker for these Sentinels players. if they end up just getting bodied on map 3. Because this could have been a 2-0.
Could have been. So close and split.
It's not the world we live in, though.
No.
So now a bit more of this mid-pressure from Sentinels. They tried this before, but they never actually split into the site. It's always poking and prodding in mid, and then they back off and do a full 5-hit through A or B main. I'd like to see them actually venture a little further forwards, but is Def going to go for it this time?
Again, it's such a similar tale. And they've used a lot of their util here, and Taco's pushed himself up into a forward. Bit of a one-and-done position. If they want to NB here, Taco could be the difference maker. More than a thorn in their side. He might just put an end to this entire push.
He has knives, though, and Def, if he uses the null command, it's going to get taken away.
Taken away, just under the Sheriff. Angle. Patience, patience, patience pays off! 2 kills, rifle gain, a bit of an upgrade, and what is that? Sprays them down,
Enemy remaining.
and they just cannot withstand it.
An absolute dismantling there. Had anybody on Sentinels the presence of mind to check that position, I think Taco would have been caught. Well, that is gorgeous trigger discipline.
Spike down.
And in the meantime, the push from Def and Pancada through that B link anyway just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Was it
Shut
Def and
down.
Zekken, I think? Just got dominated by Mazzino as well, so even the B split not really working. That was Def's 3rd null command of the half. Getting them up about every 3 rounds and not really finding that much success with them. The idea seems to make sense, but it's not worked in reality.
Here.
Heavy group up.
Toxins going up.
4 players in A main, a bit of a lurk attempt by Sassy. Oh, this wall. Oh my goodness, the cascade. But now they know the middle area is compromised, and an instant response. Look at this by LEV. They're just taking up all the space into Art. Don't want to give anything away. The plant's going to go off here, but they've been perfectly happy to play for these retakes, especially when they're handed these.
Bit of aggression from Sentinels over to Art. Might catch Taco.
Yeah, he is separated. Oh my goodness. The drone missed. Drone missed.
They're not fighting it enough. They've gone for a compromise where they just kind of stand on site and slowly die.
And picked apart from every particular angle.
The difference there, Leviatán so decisive on the thrifty round that we saw from them, and Sentinels just didn't really know what to do in that moment.
Yeah.
It's crumbling.
Crumbling fast. Really seeing the depth of the map pool as well when you've got teams that might be competing for that middle of the pack and that top 4. This is really where the difference gets separated in moments like this.
Gotta be honest with you, Brent. I thought the difference would be more palpable watching this game. I thought that we were going to see Leviatán come in here and showcase that there is a tier gap between them and Sentinels. And that really wasn't the case at all, map 1 and map 2. Even in places where we would talk about the map pool being really good for Leviatán on Ascent.
It's murky.
That's part of the joy of watching Americas at the moment. It does feel like an element of any given Sunday, but not here on Pearl.
9-2, final round of the first half. And Taco going for a familiar play. Timing, oh my goodness, he's just missed it. Like ships in the night, but he is aware, missing the shots. Shorty's out, look at the coverage. Zeno, happy to oblige, happy to help him out. And Tens wants to take a fight. Flashed up. What? What is that?
Oh, those are ones you really can't afford to lose. It does get traded, but it puts them at a player disadvantage still.
Oh, Def. He's going for an aggressive play. And he's just giving away everything, man. They're just spammed. Common angles, watch for, all down to Zekken. With the most to do.
Take flight.
How do you manage this? Drone being used, taps through, sticking all the way through. Is it enough to try and break it? Not quite. And Taco gets away with it. That's 10-2 at the half.
An absolute dismantling of Sentinels, just degenerating into solo plays there towards the end. And Sassy, after a really, really strong map 2, back on the Viper, back to 1-12.
Yep, an absolute dominant half so far by Leviatán. But well, let's see what the desk has to break down so far for this first half.
Well, thank you very much, gents. It's hard to go much further than pure dominance from Leviatán in this one. A 10-2 first half. I mean, this is nothing like the rest of the series that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely dominant. I think dominant isn't even the word to say. It's like absolute destroying, it feels like. Honestly, from my POV, just looks like Sentinels is kind of like all like fumbling all over themselves. I'm not sure if they're playing on-site, playing retake. Like here we actually see like these rounds where, you know, they have so much that they can stay on site and take the space, map space with, but then they just choose to like fall off the site, give up the free space. We have double controllers that can just retake the site, put up a wall and completely deny that information, and we're just letting them have it. Like, I really don't get it.
I think the retakes, like you mentioned, were phenomenal from Leviatán, and this is something we thought we would see on this map. Sentinels struggled with it all half, but where they really lost this half was that eco round, the one where Leviatán stacked B, they roll all the way back to A, they get the Thrifty, and then the next round, it's like they win another Thrifty because the null command gets popped, which takes away the Blade Storm from Taco, and he still gets 3.
And this will bring us back to that comp discussion because the Harbor has been a big piece of a number of those retakes, right? And we're seeing some of the difficulty from Sentinels on the attacking half with where they're planning the spike and not having the ability to protect the planter to then put it in an open position for, a hold or a post-plant situation on these B angles, for example.
Oh, these B retakes, they were just coming up aces for Leviatán, it felt like. And I'm going to say, I don't think the KO really got the value that they were looking for on Sentinels. They had 3 null commands. Sideshow pointed out they were farming orbs on def all half. All 3 of those rounds were losses, and I don't even think any of them were close. So they farmed 24 orbs that half, and then just threw them all away. That was just, you wanted to see more come out of the game plan for Sentinels. That's where I think it was missing, and now they're going to go into the tougher half, where actually Leviatán average 8 rounds every attack set.
Oh, average 8 rounds?
Average 8.
Well, they only need 3.
Yeah.
So that less than half of what their average is all they need to wrap this series up. For Sentinels, it's time for a miracle if they want to get the dub this time around. Back over to our casters to close this series out.
The uphill battle, isn't it, for Sentinels now? Has to be win on the pistol round, and even then, so damn difficult, because look at that. Just to reiterate what the desk was talking about, Leviatán with the highest attacking round win rate on Pearl among all teams at VCT Americas, 68%, Josh.
Yeah, that's also helped by the fact that Furia were playing a comp that couldn't defend.
Oh, that's true. Forgot about that.
But yeah, they are very good here. Extremely good. Call it an uphill battle. It's like trying to climb up Everest with no shoes. This does not seem feasible.
Yeah.
Working with 1 ham sandwich.
Yeah, not too many supplies. Trailblazer to clear through. This is interesting from LEV. So, curious beginning on their pistol rounds with Pearl. Do like to explore towards art. They do this quite often, but them taking mid is a new element to it. Really pushing deep. Okay, offered a bit of a kill there.
The first pick is great. If Pancada can find something else over here.
Backing away.
Yeah, it decides to just play back and watch for any post-plant aggression.
It's because they've lost that mid control. They pinged it out that they're watching for it, possibly through water and this fight. Look at this, being taken.
They've got an aggressive post-plant setup that's going to decide so much, and then King also on a
backstab. These kills. It's all about these kills. A bit of spam through, right through the window, jump peeking. Right click's doing a decent amount of work there. 40 health for Nosworth. Forward position. Is he going to be traded? Is he going to be dealt with? The answer is yes. Inside the pit, I don't think King's got anything for this one because, yeah, no util in his hands. Discipline there by Sentinels, making sure that they stuck together there for the retake.
And a great start from TenZ as well. It should be the easier side of the map. I mean, at the same time, he's also going to have a ton of Harbor utility in his face if he tries to play aggressive anywhere. But 4 kills in the round he's more than doubled his kills.
Yep. Got to keep it going, though. Yeah, I mean, 1 round at a time.
Not only can Sentinels not afford to make any mistakes, but they've got to win rounds like the bonus round where they're going to be working with a weaker economy. So it's still extraordinarily difficult. But if you think about the big picture, Sentinels were losing a lot of those pistols. They'd only won 2 out of 10 coming into this match. So those are that's already a better sign for any Sentinels fans. They've clearly put some work into the pistol rounds, and also their early round game plan as well, I think, is much improved.
Aggressive angle here. Mid was compromised for but a moment when Zekken was pushed off the angle, but... okay. Flick of the wrist there. King was hoping some sort of value there with a lurk on the Eco. Yeah, Heineken love him too. Cleaning them up though. Just trying to go over those contact plays. Noswell going to be the last one standing.
And this is going to give TenZ Bladestorm, actually. If he gets this kill or decides to challenge, I mean, might not have an opportunity to do so. Honestly, with 40 seconds left, you know, I think that would be the better idea. Don't let anyone kill him. Save him as a tasty little snack for TenZ. Because seriously, that adds just so much more into your bonus round. Second's going to troll TenZ, though. Steal the kill.
Not thinking about that.
No. But also, the ult orb over towards A is defenders sided. You can get over to that. TenZ could get his Bladestorm online. They could add a lot more bite to this round.
But this is the round that matters, isn't it? Bonus round against the bye. For any chance of mounting that comeback.
Yeah, this would be an enormous one to get. And we can tell by Leviatan's positioning that it looks like they're just going to send it B. Look at all of those pings. Pinging out TenZ potential positioning, perhaps?
Onto the close corner. Deep knife there on towards A main, so that's going to be given the space for TenZ to get the orb, so he's going to have his knives online. Viper wall in the face for the Leviathan players, but not for much longer. Okay, as soon as they hear that Trailblazer, that's going to be the pull. Snakebite, layering the utility on top to make sure they don't get too much value out of it. But now drop down, that's going to be a plant. Anything to try and stop this one? No spam into it. Plant goes down without too many problems. Now, how do you play this retake? This is the bread and butter of the comp.
Except that Pancada is not playing Harbor, right? So, where do the Astra Smokes come through?
And it's going to be difficult. Trying to wade your way through. That's an updraft play. Dash still active, making their way through. Cascade in their face. No kill to be found. And look at all this util. Viper Orb right on top of it. Anybody tries to stick it, they're going to be bursted down this way, that way. It's so difficult to play against. Sassy against the world. Beautiful little attempt at the end, but not too much else.
So one big opportunity for Sentinels to get back into this game a little bit, and it doesn't quite go their way. And that means that not only do Leviathan get up to 11, but they have the economy now to be able to start working their way forwards and get on to match point. TenZ picks up an operator, but I just don't see where he's going to be able to get value from this unless he plays towards mid. Mazzino's utility is always going to be in his face. Mazzino and Nosra are going to use a flash and a cascade to take any space where they want on the map.
I think this might act in biting them a little bit.
There's the flash, there's the cascade. Not that TenZ is playing there anyway.
Just impossible to anyway. Reckoning skirting its way across the site there. Going to be using the pull in response to a lot of this. Just try and slow down again the push attempt. And back hall's control is still going to be held for now by Sen. Dashing right forwards into them. Pop flash play! Lovely by Pancada to contain. The second's out in the open. He's removed.
Pancada got a second here and he's still in back halls.
And this is anyone's game still. Slight angle. Oh my goodness, spraying it down. Moving forwards. That's Mazzino.
And now Pancada's stuck. He could be pushed from any angle here.
On timing.
I love this decisive reposition.
The repeat, his crosshair placement's not on it. Doesn't suspect it.
TenZ is miles away. I mean, he was opping on A all throughout this round, hoping, praying that they would come back to him. Does he get a free one?
Not quite. Dashing forwards, he needs a better gun for the job. And look at that. Lev have no intention of taking a fight with him.
Goodbye.
Running all the way over towards A.
He didn't get a rifle.
That's interesting.
So this is going to be
a retake with the operator.
Very difficult.
30 seconds
in a must-win round.
Spike planted.
Spikes down. And set up for that post plant. This is so hard to play against. Crossfire setup.
His intuition says that they're both playing in A main here. He's going to make a small clear of these areas.
At common enough angles, but the more he does it, the more time is going to be bled off. Onto the clock. Smoke's available. How does he play it? Sticking it through. It's a double swing. No gaps in the play there from Leviathan.
Match point.
Now give it everything you have.
And it's the final round potentially here, as Leviathan have just looked unstoppable. Sentinels take a timeout. Mazzino's 20 and 10 currently. Finishes off 10s towards the end there too.
He's frying.
He really is.
Last time out here for Sentinels. Any chance for them to try and crawl their way back, but there is no room for error.
And their economy is shot. I mean, it's just looking disastrous after losing round 15 and round 16.
Nothing to work with.
And honestly, even if Leviatán are able to win this final round and close things out 30-4, they've been pushed much more than people expected on those first 2 maps. And really, like, coming away from this game, do you feel more confident in Leviatán just because the final map was so decisive? I was kind of expecting this kind of scoreline on Ascent. So,
yeah,
to me, it feels like it's already gone further. Like, Sentinels have already pushed a top team further than I was expecting.
They definitely have that clutch factor, is what it feels like. A lot of the rounds going away from those sheer heroics that we were seeing.
And for Sentinels, their strength of schedule moving forwards is nowhere near as disastrous as some teams like 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
They're not out of it. Even if they end up losing here, they're good learning moments. But for Leviatán, they're looking to make a statement.
Looking to make a statement, hoping to end it here with this next round. A lot of ults that they're close to here, you can see as well. Shy, 1 away from that lockdown. Completely theirs, isn't it, towards A main. So they've gained control of this one. And it's a stack push here from Sentinels. They're hoping for something, anything.
Obscuring vision.
Lovely kill there. Okay.
And that's really important. And Sassy picking up King on the other side of things too. As King was just prodding forwards there. I think King's given them really good information, right? He knows that they were pushed up over towards B, so it's unlikely there's going to be a stack on A. Leviatán, after prodding there and dying to Pancada, decide to full commit.
Oh. Sassy getting caught on the flank, though.
A 4v3 Sentinels with more players, worse weapons.
Look at the way Leviatán have just split up entirely. There's a timing here to be taken, but obviously Sen don't want to be rushing into this one. Every single moment matters. Flashes over the top as soon as it's tapped. That's going to be the pop flash play moving forwards. No one's covering it. Even everybody's blind, but it is half on the defuse. Lockdown being used, squeezing the players on the site.
Oh,
and
no.
Look at this. Mazzino. Oh, he's found the perfect timing.
Enemy remaining.
Slam dunk. And it's all up to Dev. The IGL just has to wait his turn. Stunned up, no time. It is halved. But with so much to do, and just not enough weaponry. 13-4 to finalize it. What a performance on the final map here for Leviatán.
Very decisive. Leviatán coming out in the third map, making a statement, showcasing that there really is a difference between these two teams, at least on some maps in the pool. And Leviatán were looking for that, the bounce back after their loss to Furia, showcasing that they're a top team that people should respect, a top team looking to maybe make it to Tokyo later on down in the split. But I think there's still questions to take away from this win. The manner in which they played on Split, sure, it's an OT win, but that was the first time we'd seen Leviatán play it since July of 2022. And then the fact that they've now lost 2 games on Ascent in a row. And there were some people saying that Ascent, you know, Leviatán were one of the best teams in the world on that.
I think at this point, calling it into question a little bit.
I agree.
Retracting that statement because they've been pushed now in 2 instances. Listen, not to discredit Sentinels, I think they played very well to be able to do so, but...
I mean, especially the individual moments. Zekken winning the 1v2 towards the end stands out, but Zekken just had an absolute blinder on Sova there. You know, maybe there's no team in the world that stops Zekken from winning that map.
But his final one was dominant. I think that's Leviatán as well, just showcasing again, just the remnants of their map pool a little bit there, the depth there they've got available to them. That 2-1 scoreline, Leviatán happy with that one. Coincidentally as well, 2-1 going to be their standings as well, moving forwards off the back of this win, much needed for them. Nice little bounce back.
Absolutely. I think Leviatán will be happy about that, but also have a lot of rounds where they can VOD review, learn, continue to improve. At the end of the day, in a regular season format like this, it's just about getting wins on the board.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to keep plugging away, getting as many as you can, move up the standings and get into playoffs, and hope that you've learned enough by that point to be able to find successes. And like I said, for Sentinels, it's not the same disaster story we were telling yesterday about 100 Thieves. Sentinels have still got wins that they can get coming up. They still have that win, obviously, over their rivals 100 Thieves. And there are ways of them still making things into the playoffs later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot to look forward to as well, heading deeper into the Americas. Of course, it's only week 3.
Yeah.
So plenty more matches to go as we head into the playoffs and deeper. Lots of opportunities for either teams as well to really make great strides. But that's going to do it for the first series of the day. And it's going to do it for us as well. But we're not done with the VALORANT action just yet. Send it down to the desk as well to break it all down for that first match that we've just seen.
Following that halftime, Leviatán made quick work of Sentinels. They only needed a couple rounds to make it happen, but utter domination here to close out what was otherwise an incredibly close series.
Yeah, it's a shame that was our third map, right? Because the rest of the series didn't really show that. It didn't really do Sentinels any justice, right? That third map. They played the first 2 maps so well, but their game plan on that third map, I think the comp they brought, everything that they really approached the map with, a bunch of A hits, hardly any B hits. The null commands never worked out. They just need to scrap that. That was just not it for Sentinels on that last map. And Leviatán continue to look fantastic on Pro. Probably the best team in the world right now on the map. They look amazing.
Yeah, and speaking of compositions, Athena, we didn't have to go much further than round 15 to kind of see what that harbor enables them to do in post-plant situations.
Yeah, I mean, look at this just ridiculous amount of util. I mean, they have the KJ mollies, they have the orb on bomb, they have walls to push them back. They're just holding, ready to molly, putting the Viper wall up, putting the Viper orb back up. Like, it's just an insane amount of util, an insane amount of delay that I think I agree with Sean with, that the KO just could not do anything. Like, look at this wall, completely blocking it, spamming, mollying, spamming again, fighting. There's walls to fight behind. There's just so much safe space for them to be standing there and just keeping them alive. And I think that this was truly, truly a comp diff in my eyes. Like, everything just played out perfectly in Leviatán's favor.
They had nothing to defuse the spike on those B plants. I mean, no wall, no harbor cove, nothing. And even the attention to detail. That last round watching King, he's holding up in the sky, not because he's holding a lineup, but because he's waiting for Tenza's updraft. That's his role. He's just holding that while he waits for his time to line up.
Yeah, well, and it speaks to a Sentinel's only option to get any visibility, right, is to send a jet up in the air to get over the top of those walls and find some kind of information. Also, we took a look at some of the team statistics there. Very interesting that first kills to first deaths matched our actual round scoreline, 13-4. We had Taco Leah and we had, I think it was Mazzino, 6-1 in FKD. The two of them were just absolutely on fire and hitting their shots.
I think it's something to do with like how Onar communicates with Taco, how he should work with this harbor utility. Because on the harbor Viper maps, watching Taco move around with Mazzino's utility, with King's utility, it's so good. He knows all of the timings. They have these little set plays for him to move around the controller utility. And he showed it again, 6-1 First Bloods. So good.
He had so much freedom to get stuff done. And we're going to take a moment to go talk to the man himself. Let's send it down to the stage where Doug is standing by with Taco Leah for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you, Dash. Taco, congratulations on the win. Another big one, another North American team taken down. I want to ask you right off the bat, did you expect Sentinels to play you as close as they did on Maps 1 and Maps 2?
La verdad, sí. Nosotros entrenamos con ellos en Loquín un par de games y sabemos que son un buen equipo. Individualmente tienen mucho talento también. Pero nada, nosotros venimos bien preparados y confiamos en lo que teníamos. Costó, nos cuesta sentirnos cómodos en un stage, sobre todo en el primer y el segundo mapa. Aunque nos hayamos llevado el primer mapa, no estábamos del 100% cómodos. Y nada, el tercero pudimos sentarnos maduramente y hacer las cosas bien, nuestros movimientos, y funcionó.
Yeah, he says he was expecting a lot of that. To be honest, he scrimmed against this team a couple of times, so he knows just how talented they can be, and a lot of it was comfort for them. They weren't necessarily comfortable in the opening map, and they got more and more comfortable as time went on. I want to ask you a question along that as well. What do you think was the big difference between map 3 and then maps 1 and 2, because the scoreline was entirely different?
Mentalidad. Todo mentalidad cuando estás arriba del stage. Las prácticas, sí que, no sé, nosotros tenemos buenos días de práctica y todo, pero nos ha pasado, nos pasó contra Furia, el mental en stage puede jugar un papel muy duro. Y nada, como dije, el tercer mapa logramos entrar con las cosas claras, como una visión más sobre el mapa, sobre el juego, centrado en lo que había que hacer en el momento y funcionó. Pero primero y segundo claramente falló el mental en algunos momentos. Y mental es un aspecto muy grande, tenía ansiedad, de repente tuneléis mucho. Son cosas que suelen pasar en stage por la presión. Pero nada, el tercer mapa supimos manejarlo mejor y dio resultado.
You said the big thing was mental. You felt a little concerned, a little cautious, perhaps a little bit anxious on stage and on maps 1 and 2, but you could tell it was just so drastically different in map 3, much more confident, and it showed in the results. The last question I have for you, Taco, you've now taken 2 teams down, but it seems like there's a lot of presence between Brazil and Latin America at the top. Is that something you were expecting at the beginning of the split?
Acerca de Latinoamérica y Brasil. Nada, son los equipos que están acá son muy fuertes. Nosotros siempre entrenamos con Brasil y sabemos el potencial que tienen. Y personalmente nunca los vi más débiles que los equipos de acá. Yo sabía que podían ganarle a cualquier equipo, de verdad. Y yo no siento que haya diferencia en niveles a esta altura. Siento que un equipo de Brasil puede competir igual a Norteamérica y ganarle. Y ya lo hemos visto.
It's happened a lot.
Y nada, eso. O sea, nada me sorprende de los resultados. Yo sabía que venían las cosas así y bueno, nos quedan muchos partidos por delante y ojalá lograr la comodidad en stage, que es lo más importante para nosotros.
Hey, he says he wasn't surprised at all. He was very confident that Brazil and Latin America would be able to compete, and them being at the top is just something that is no surprise. He says also that there's still plenty of time left in the season, and he hopes they can continue to perform at that level. Congratulations on the win. We're going to throw it to a break. When we return, Evil Geniuses first crew. We'll be right back.
It's a battle between 1-1 teams, and for a winning record here in the standings of VCT Americas Sentinels versus Leviatán. Both teams still trying to find their identity and put their stamp on the league.
High-low setup, spam onto the angle, Mazzino, spray transfer. It's immaculate. The shorty does the job, just trying to wade right into it, and none of the util has been cleaned up yet, Dev. Crosshair placement's good for one, still finds it. Flick at a wrist, and it is good util in his hands. Finds it, a target, and that's the ace. Bit of spam, seeing if they can find a kill onto the Viper would be beautiful for them. Tens, it's cleaned up. That's Leviatán claiming map number 1.
What a great finish out. Looking very clean in overtime there for Leviatán.
Yep, left click from Dev, as soon off the alarm bot. Yep, there it is, and a re-swing. Beautiful trap play. Love to see it. Paranoia in the face of Pancada. Run and gun does it. Spike plant will get a bit of extra money. It needs to be favoured.
This is so aggressive.
Wide out in the open. Short is traded away. The map secured, and second is the man to do it. Sticking it, spamming it down, need to break it all the way through. No one's dealing with King, and he just sticks it through. Patience, patience, patience pays off! 2 kills, rifle gain, a bit of an upgrade, and what is that? Sprays them down. 13-4 to finalize it. What a performance on the final map here for Leviatán.